What's going on, guys, and welcome back. So we're getting kind of close to that time period. They said next list will be in a few months. We're just over 2 months since the ban list went into effect, so that has us kind of thinking like within a month maybe. But we also have Power of the Elements dropping August 4th for most of the TCG, and obviously Splight, Tearlaments are two big strategies that are going to be getting pushed in that set, and it kind of makes me feel like we're going to get a ban list like right before Power of the Elements, just to really help push that product through, especially because we just had North America just had their Nats. The European Championship is post Power of the Elements. Like, pretty much big events are kind of done now until Power of the Elements, so it's like the perfect time for Konami to go ahead and drop a ban list. Who knows how it's gonna go, but I like to try and think about like good prediction list videos as opposed to live reaction videos. Like, I don't think anyone actually gets a live reaction. I'm a small channel and my phone blows up and I could never do a live reaction. Like, there's just no way. I would at least get something leaked. So we're going to just go through banned, limited, semi-limited, unlimited, talk about the cards and why we're putting them there. I think people are going to be pretty happy with our banned section. We're going to go and put Artifact Scythe here. I think it's time. Like, this card is just so oppressive. It's so, like, why is it taking so long to do it? And some people say hit Dagda. No, you hit Scythe. What are they going to do? Dagda into Artifact Lancia? Like, okay, that's fine. If they want to go ahead and Dagda into Lancia, I'm not worried about that. I think it's perfectly fine. Scythe is really the card that is degenerate and needs to be taken care of. Both the decks that made the North American finals were playing this card, and this card has been popping up. It basically won a YCS. This card has been around for so long, and it's time. I've always been a fan of Mystic Mine and said that this card's a necessary evil. If it doesn't get banned, I'm not going to be super upset. I could also see it going to 1 just to make it that Saki power 1 of. But realistically, like, I think the player base is just so fed up with this card, and having it kind of do what it did on stream multiple times for the North American Championship. Like, we saw this card just completely ruin a couple streams. It was not fun to watch. It was, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! You win. You play the card because you win. It's one of the best going second cards ever. You play it because it's available. That doesn't mean it's good for the game. And I do think that it might be time that Mystic Mine finally gets hit on that ban list. And then also, time to pay for your sins, Hulk. Like, Hulk gets hit finally. We started to get, we got Jet Synchron back and whatnot. And maybe you argue without Hulk, you don't need to hit Scythe, which I still disagree with. There's still ways to cheat it out. Not like just Dagda either and then popping it. Like, there's still ways for decks to abuse Scythe. I think hit Hulk 5X right away too. Splight can use combos with Hulk, but they really don't need it at all. Tearlaments also does not need it. It inadvertent, well, not really inadvertently, it sort of hits like Punk Therion. We're not trying to hit decks too much, because I think Splight and Tearlaments just being introduced are going to do quite a bit to the format. We'll work on how to beat videos for each of those too as well, so hit that subscribe button. Also, come do some testing at Dragon Rider Games. Link down below. You see the banner on the screen as well. Lots of really good testing, win some great prizes, and we have free tournaments ran through our Discord. So I'll work on getting that link for you guys too, actually, in the videos from now on, our Discord for Dragon Rider Games. Again, we run free tournaments, like even free 1v1 matches, just so you can get some good testing in, set it up and play it. It's just a lot less toxic than Dueling Book can be sometimes when you're actually just going up against a player that wants to also test as well. So that's going to be it for our ban section. Hitting Mine, Scythe, Hulk, I think everyone can kind of agree those cards all definitely deserve to go. So now we're going to hit our limited section. What are some cards that we want to go limited? First, we're going to do the hits. Probably best 3 decks right now being, Punk Therion, swordsoul, and I guess Despia maybe isn't still top 3, especially Power of the Elements. I think Splight and Tearlaments really cement themselves up there, but to push through those sales, I think some small hits are going to happen just to like I said, either they're going to come right out and reset the format like after Eternal, or they're just going to do some small hits to help push players into those newer decks. And I've seen a lot of people complain that the format's too wide open, so maybe we do need to hit those decks to kind of bring in the total decks that are super viable and get that count down a bit. But we're just going to say Swordsoul Emergence Limited. Ashuna's another really good potential hit here. Wasn't going to have two of them, but we're going to have Branded Opening also go limited. It makes the deck a little more susceptible to Droll, plays around a little bit less that way. Obviously being a quick effect, the Grave effect for protection. It's just a consistency hit, so that's all we're doing. I was really debating if I wanted to go after Despia with 2 cards or not, and I don't think they're both going to get hit, but either one of these hits, I'd prefer Branded Opening. But Fright for Patchwork makes a little bit of sense too, because it takes away 2. Essentially, if they open, pretty much any Dark Monster, Patchwork into Poly and Edge Imp, and then they can, Poly and start going off their combos that way, plus whatever else they opened. And most of the decks playing Patchwork are playing like the all gas builds, where they're just going to open so much and gain so much advantage. They're going to thin out their deck with cards like this, and then allure into allure, and just they're going to do so much, and it's just crazy, especially because then when you use your Edge Imp, you get another copy of this for next turn for follow-up, and it like gets you easy access to Poly, which means your Guardian Chimera has that targeting protection. So by at least putting it to 1, you can't just like use this, get your Poly, get your Edge Imp, get you another Patchwork for next turn, and it's just a consistency hit. I think opening or Patchwork should really happen. I would definitely prefer opening, probably. I'd be open, see what I did there? Open to both being hit, but I think either one of these cards getting limited would be a decent hit to Despia. The engine that just needs to go, 21 out of 64 decks in Top Cut were playing it. Like, oh my goodness, it's so annoying when all you do is see this everywhere. And I say that like with a grain of salt, because Splight is going to be all over. You can play it in so many different things. I have another Cyber Dragon Splight combo replay video going up. We did the deck profile, which I've changed slightly to test a few things. Like, Splight it's so splashable, and like really just, it's insane. But we're gonna have Rite of Aramesir getting limited. Like, I'm tired of this engine. Lots of people are tired of this engine. It's just time Konami does something about it. So Rite of Aramesir, we're gonna say get it limited. And then we got a few cards to come back. Orcus Harpor. I've been saying it for a while. This card could have came back a year ago, and it would not be insanely broken. I mean, you could punk Orcus into like Chaos Ruler mill 5. Then you could even go into like the Zombie Guy mill 4 more, and then just pop off with Orcus combo. But maybe something crazy comes out. But like, Orcus end goal isn't even that oppressive. Boral Sword Turbo, Access Code Turbo, that's not oppressive. Crescendo, the Counter Trap, Dingirsu, they're not that oppressive. Like, I mean, maybe I'll come to eat those words, but I don't think Harp going to 1 is going to do anything crazy, despite the other engines that might pair up with the deck. And I think it's just time that Harp goes to 1. Freeing some Dragon Rulers. I originally was just going to say, you know what, give them all back again. But Title makes me a little worried. I mean, Marincest is seeing a little bit of success. And realistically, Blaster, Redox, Title, they could all come back. I don't see all of them coming back at one time, so we're going to pick Blaster as the obvious one. But realistically, like, Redox is not as good as Block Dragon. It could give Adamancipator a little boost, which I've actually played against Splight Adamancipator. That was kind of interesting, the way the decks work together. But like Doki, Researcher, and one of the other ones, not Analyzer, the other guy, they're both, all 3 of those are level 2s, and he was playing some other crazy card that gave like an extra normal summon and potentially a free summon that was a level 2, so that's pretty interesting. And then lastly, Denglong. Like, it's just another card that, the way the format's gone, like the power level of the game, Denglong can come back. Like, I don't see any reason Denglong can't come back. It's just time for some of these cards. Here's where we're going to get a little bit interesting, okay? let's go ahead, semi-limit. We hit Rite of Aramis here, but I think Water Enchantress to 2 as well. I know a lot of people say 2 and 2 with both of them, but this maybe is more of a wish list. I want to see, like, really hit them. Like, you can't straight up ban one, but if you could, that'd be pretty nice. So if you go 1 and 2, it's still an engine that could see some play, but it's not, like, going to see nearly as much, if at all. You could still see it in like PK and things like that, like the free level 3 summon from your Enchantress. Like, there's some decks that could still play it, but at least then it'll tone it way back. If we go 1 and 2, I'd be really happy for that. And now hear me out on this. Like, this deck has been doing absolutely nothing. This deck like lives and dies by this card, and it's already like the deck is fragile, and going second is so hard. We say the semi-limit should be like pretty much Mally and maybe testing cards coming back, but like Mally and Miss, these are 2 cards that just fit the semi-limit list so well. Like, Miss at 3 is pretty good, but Miss at 1, the deck's just arguably not even playable. Like, you just lose your follow-up, you lose anything if they break your board. You got to play like gimmicky cards and combos, like going out of your way to make like Gallant Granite and getting like Nemesis Keystone, or playing like these other just weird interacting cards to try to recycle your Miss. When, like, if we go Miss to 2, I think Dino sees a little bit of play. It's not insanely broken, it's not OP, it's not anything like just crazy, but it gives like a not anti-meta, but, you know, kind of anti-meta, strong rogue, viable going second option to the format. And I think Miss to 2 just really fits that bill really nicely. Unlimited went to 2, it's time. Dynamite's going to 3. I think we can all lock that one right in. Digesto Emerald too. Again, card can go to 3. Card could go to 4. I don't care. Like, the card's not going to see play at 3. Especially at 3 copies. Like, Digesto Emerald is not, it's not, there's no reason it's not at 3. Trickstars haven't seen any play. Maybe they don't go anywhere because of the Mr. Rune coming, which I think pairs up really nicely with this deck in the tactical something at the end of August. But like Light Stage to 3, I'm not afraid of it. Verde's gone. We don't have to worry about that, because that is so much criticism I got when I said to unlimit this card before, was it's 1 card Verde and it can pop a back row, and it's like, yeah, the back row part's the better of the 2, and 1 card Verde. That's just insane, guys. Like, that's crazy. I mean, like, there's things that, like, Trickstar's kind of an annoying deck, and maybe we'll say, oh, this card shouldn't be unlimited, but I'm not going to be that person. I think Trickstar Light Stage could absolutely be at 3, and maybe then they'll see a little more success. There's a couple decks playing a small engine that topped like last format, and then Splight being a thing. Like, we can't ban Toad, because that's just going to like completely kill sales. It's going to ruin Splight before we ever get it. It's just not going to happen. We can't hit Toad. So what if we make a card that's pretty good at countering Splight? Like, hear me out here. Pankratops to 3. I think it offers a really good option to counter Splight while giving us a like solid staple side deck card. Like, Pankratops at 3, it gives you a chance going second. It gives you that card to fight going second. And at 1, it sees no play. Like, I've said it for so long. I don't think Pankratops is good enough to be at 1. Heck, put it at semi-limit even. But like, Pankratops isn't good enough to be limited. It should be semi or unlimited. And I'm gonna go on that. I'll die on the hill of unlimited. It's a very strong going second card. It is not like insanely broken. I know some people are gonna disagree with me on that, but that's just the way I see it. I don't think Pankratops is like anything super scary, and it absolutely could be at 3. But this is kind of my list predictions. I think for the most part it's all pretty viable, other than like Pankratops is easily the most out there prediction. That's why we saved it for the very end. Like, if you took off Pankratops and saw that list, you know, Patchwork or Opening, just one or the other, I think people would see it and be like, okay, I could live with that. That'll be good. And then we'll see where we go from that. Let me know down below, though, what you think about this list and what you think will happen. Stick around for other videos. Like we said, obviously Cyber Dragon content. That's kind of what we do. but also our how to beat Splite, how to beat tier laments, other meta relevant videos. But here's our Banlist prediction. And again, Dragon Rider games, somewhere, both places, depending which way we look. Links down below. Come check it out. It's a lot of fun. Thanks guys for watching, and until next time, take care.